We'd like to thank BetChrisCanada.net for their support of the Hockey Betting Podcast. I'm Brian Blessing in sunny Las Vegas.
And I'm Cam Stewart in cold Toronto, Canada.
If you love hockey and you're in Canada, and Cam is, by the All-Star break, even if you can't stop thinking about taking a vacation someplace sunny and warm, but you don't want to miss out on any of the hockey action, look for a BetChris near your next holiday destination.
BetChris is one of the leading sports books in the Western Hemisphere, with hundreds of sports betting locations throughout the Caribbean and Latin America.
Watch the game at a BetChris location. Food and drink specials and VIP lounges are available at many BetChris locations. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open your BetChris account.
Place some bets on your game and collect your cash at the window when the game is over.
BetChris offers single bets, parlay bets, teasers, and more on pregame and live odds for hockey and all your favorite Canadian and American sports leagues. And BetChris offers a variety of team and player props, including futures.
BetChris offers the best value odds on Canadian and international sports. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open up your account at a BetChris location. Deposit $750 or more and get up to a 40% reduced commission on your sports bets, up to minus 106 on single bets and parlay bets. That's the best juice in the biz.
So, if you're planning a trip to exotic locations from the Caribbean and Mexico to Peru and almost everywhere in between, the odds are very good. There's a BetChris Sportsbook where you're going on holiday. For more information about visiting a BetChris location while you're on holiday, or to listen to or subscribe to the Hockey Betting Podcast, visit BetChrisCanada.net. That's BetChrisCanada.net. Cam, you're Canadian. When you leave Canada and you're heading south, use the promo code PODCAST.
You're listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetChrisCanada.net. This is the Hockey Betting Preview for Monday, December 16th, 2019. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Hockey Betting Podcast, Brian Blessing.
All right, kids, here we go. The Hockey Betting Podcast, Brian Blessing in Las Vegas. Cam Stewart, he's north of the border. He's in the center of the hockey universe, and hockey revolves around him.
I'm not one of those guys, Brian. You know what I mean? I don't like when they say center of the hockey universe. It's busy, but we got a lot of other nice areas that are hockey-centric too, right? What about Montreal? Hey, you're down there. Things are going well, so we got to pump the brakes on. But it's very good. It's very good. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of action, especially around the holidays. Lots of tournaments, lots of fun, buddy, and can't wait to hit some winners on the ice. We've been pretty good so far this year. Let's keep the trend rolling.
No, man, you got that right. And, oh, by the way, some of the big boys are starting to come. The other day, Cam, you'd have been proud of me. And how many times do I say it? The hard part is finding out. And the other night, there's a new thing going on. Not new, but in Vegas, more places are offering this. So the other night, Washington's playing Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, Tampa's not playing good. You know, why? In Washington, catching 25 cents or whatever it was. So I loved them. And I'm like, you know what? They offered a reverse puck line. I got Washington on the reverse puck line, plus 375. And they got the W. So anyway, I'm watching it. You know, I just bet it just because I liked it. Oh, I'm sick to my stomach. They get the goal to go up 5-2. It's in the cookie jar. What do? They cut and show the Caps dads in the suite going bananas. I did it of my own accord. Had I known the dads were there, I would have dropped an anvil on it. So, you know, on a Monday night, you got the Caps at Columbus. Know this: the dads are in tow, and the reason I'm bringing up, we'll dive in. We'll start on Tuesday, but at the time of the taping, I just want people to know that Washington's at Columbus. Vegas's dads is the first one really in advance found out about is later this week at Vancouver, at San Jose. Vegas just beat Vancouver last night. So Vegas with the dads, and they're 4-0 the last 2 years with the dads. So know that for later in the week. But Washington beat Tampa Bay. Not only did they beat them, Cam, they beat them with Samsonov, the backup goalie in Tampa.
Samsonov, yeah, the luggage.
Now here's the thing,
nice.
kid.
Yes.
When the beauty of the dad's trip, both goalies have a dad. So both goalies are going to play. And they just beat Tampa with the backup and Holtby. They're rolling him out against Columbus.
Not even that, Brian. Let's remember what happened. Who did they beat on the way back from that trip when we talked about plus 220? It was the Columbus Blue Jackets that beat Washington in their first game back during the 4-dog night. Remember the 4-dog night where every single dog won? Ottawa over Boston, Columbus, the Islanders beat the Lightning. That night was the night the Capitals won. Columbus beat the Capitals. All in on the Capitals today. I know you, Brian. I read you. Washington -1.5 plus 165. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Blessing. I know that's what you're doing.
That's exactly what I'm doing. But let's focus on what's going on here as the week really gets rolling in earnest, and we'll focus on the Tuesday card. Yep. Right there, your backyard, one of the key early games, Buffalo is at Toronto, and this is a monster hockey game. I mean, literally a monster hockey game. The Sabres in second place in the Atlantic. They've gotten their act together. They've gone to Ullmark as the starting goalie. It's made all the difference in the world. And the Leafs are playing better. But you sit here and you look at that, and the Leafs are 3 points behind the Sabres, even up in games. We nailed both of them earlier this year. Usually it's over in Buffalo, under in Toronto. And Jack Eichel, Cammy, I told you, for a giggle, it was a giggle, I put $5 on Eichel at 200 to 1.
I wish you put 100.
I don't know. But
even $20, Brian.
200 to 1. That was just a laugh. To lead the league in goal scoring. Yep. And he's in second behind Pasternak now. And Eichel is on a 16-game point streak. He's the hottest player in hockey. He's on a dead tear. He's 2 games shy for the all-time American. I think Kane is 18 games is the record for an American he is playing at such a ridiculous level, and he loves to beat the Leafs.
Yes, he does. That's the thing. If there's any props, people, Eichel to get a point or something in the game, just take it. Even if it's juice, he will be the guy. He is so hot. I can't believe the way he's playing. And I told you, Brian, about that arm injury. I thought it was going to be worse. The kid's a man. We talked about it, how he's grown from being a kid to a man, taking the team on his back. Conversely, the Leafs, yes, they're playing better hockey too, and it's pretty simple. Ullmark, when he goes for Buffalo, it's usually he makes saves. Hutton's not even Hutton should be played as sparingly, only when you really, really need to put him in there. He's a liability to the Sabres. Anderson is the key. They have no backup goaltender, so they're going to ride this guy into the ground like they do every year. But, Brian, I'd be probably inclined to take the under again. I think these teams will play a playoff-style game, and I could see a 3-2 type of hockey game. This total will probably be 6 or 6.5 because that's what they're going to post. And if it's 6.5, I think we definitely have to look at the under. Keep digging.
At some point, and I don't know when it is. I mean, it could be tomorrow. We'll find out. But I think because they're such huge games and they're the teams that they are literally 4-point games in the hodgepodge with the standings. I think you see Ullmark in Toronto. I think on Thursday you see Ullmark at Philly. Yeah. And I would tell you Saturday, L.A. plays a matinee game in Buffalo. If I'm Kruger, I'm playing Hutton there, and that would be an over game on Saturday. But I would think Hutton may appear. He will appear this week. I'm hoping he holds him for the L.A. game.
No, that makes total sense, and that's what you do. You play him against the Kings. Hopefully he shows up in that game, but you're definitely right. If he plays afternoon, first of all, in afternoon games, I like to take you take a look at the over anyway. A lot of the time, these guys come out sleeping, bing, bang, bang, quick goals. With Hutton playing, though, I would definitely take the over. And the Kings, despite losing, they'll get you a couple. I'd probably take Buffalo in the over in that spot, Brian. We got some interesting games. You talk about it. Ottawa's an interesting team, Brian. They just don't get any respect, but they battle and they battle and they battle. I'm not sure if they're going to beat Tampa Bay. That's a tough spot. Nashville and the Islanders. There's some really, really good games. And this is the thing. You're going into the holiday break. You don't want to screw around. You want that turkey and ham to taste succulent and delicious. You want to go in there with a beautiful hot streak. It just doesn't taste the same when you're on cold, right? You're thinking about that Christmas dinner going, oh, man, we could have beat that team. Why'd we slack off that night, right? You want to be on a little bit of a heater before the mashed potatoes hit the table.
Oh man, let's see here. I think the Montreal's at Vancouver.
Yeah, that's
no, and well, I'm just double checking the Habs here. Is this because it's been an angle that's worked for us? Yeah, amen, brother. Montreal starting oh my goodness, is this for real? 2, 4, 6. Montreal is starting a 7-game road trip, Cam.
Over 7? The holidays?
Oh, my goodness. At Vancouver, at Calgary, at Edmonton, at Winnipeg, at Tampa, at Florida, at Carolina. Montreal could be gone in the next little while.
You're right. They don't return until the new year.
They better put a lot of stock into this game.
That's a good call. Like, so they play December 17th. You play Vancouver. You got all those games. They don't come back to Montreal till Thursday, January 2nd. And Ooh. By the way, you play the Lightning when you come back. Then Pittsburgh. That's no fun. That buddy, is look at this trip. Buddy, play. Oh my God, Vancouver.
And they're a dog. They're a 30-cent. I mean, bare minimum. Every night. They're a dog in all of these games. And Calgary's playing better. Edmonton's desperate. Winnipeg's been good.
Tampa Bay's a good team. Florida, they're going to be angry. Carolina, yes. Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh. Whoa, that's a murderer's row. Poor Montreal. That's tough.
You know what, though? I would step up to the plate with them against Vancouver. Yeah, I think they can see the desperation here.
Our new angle, not really new angle, the angle that we've been following is instead of, like I know we say, team back from road trip, we still play that angle. But the one that I think has been, yes, this angle of the team starting a road trip, trying to get out the road trip with a good vibe, a good win, that angle has been better, especially when we're taking dogs. That's what we have to do. Vancouver's a good team, but what do you think they'll be in that game? $1.60, probably something like that. We'll take Montreal in the first game on Tuesday for sure.
Tuesday night, Minnesota's at Vegas. I telling you, bud,
Minnesota's better than people think they are.
Minnesota is a dead over team to me. I mean, they can score, and you look at the last 5-3 loss. Played the over in the Flyers game and come up short, but beat the Flyers convincingly 4-1, but then previously played a 6-5 game against Edmonton. I think Minnesota comes in here. I think that's a high-scoring game. I think that one definitely goes over because Vegas is now creating a lot of chances. They're starting to put things together offensively, but they're still suspect in their own end.
I agree. I think the over is the play there. It's funny, Brian, how Minnesota used to play New Jersey Devils style hockey. It's completely opposite to that now. They score goals, they give up goals. You go to Vegas, they're going to be all over Minnesota in that game, and they'll probably post a 6 rather than a 6.5. I'm assuming, and I think we have to go over in that game. I agree 100%. What do you think about Arizona and SJ Sharkey? Arizona is a team that they've been playing good, a little bit snake bitten, coming out to some bad early starts in their game. They're a damn good team. If I was San Jose, I'd be very, very wary of Arizona going in there and getting a win.
San Jose is a mess.
That's what I'm saying. I think Arizona.
Well, but I will tell you though, but you know what, buddy, the one thing with Arizona is one of these teams. Win 4, lose 3.
I know
the inconsistency. Now, they lose 5-2 to Calgary. They beat Chicago, who was kind of in a snap where they can't get out of their own end. But then you can't lose to Jersey. They lost to Jersey 2-1. I don't know that I trust Arizona.
Yeah, but the thing is, I got to believe like a loss like that is going to bounce them back. They'll be ready to go. Yeah, that's the thing, Brian. And teams are going to lay eggs. Like and you called it. I'll give you credit. Remember when Vegas? What did they lose? 5-0 to the Rangers. It's a long season. Teams lay eggs. I can tell you one thing. Arizona, despite being young, said, you know what? We can show up half of our team, probably drunk from the night before if they had their Christmas party, and beat a team like New Jersey. Well, in the National Hockey League, it doesn't happen like that. A team like New Jersey, if they want to win and show up, they can beat you. This is just a very dangerous spot for the Sharks due to styles. Styles make fights. Arizona's fast and young. San Jose is a bit older and plotting. I think this is a very bad spot for San Jose after Arizona lost. I'll be looking at the Coyotes.
All right. How it's early. It's a new week. How brave are you? If you feeling frisky?
I frisky. Yeah, I'm frisky, Brian. You've seen me at the blackjack table. I get frisky.
All right. Well, this would require a modicum of friskiness.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say that in a sentence.
No, me neither.
Columbus is we think. All right. Let's just say we think it might be Woodshed City at home. And Torts is already going bananas.
He's going to be gassed pretty soon, don't you think?
Is it his fault they gutted the organization?
No, it isn't his fault, Brian, but this act's been going on for long. We live in a different world. Like, me and you get it, but this stuff doesn't fly anymore. Like, they're firing. I don't even know why Montgomery and Dallas got fired. They didn't even mention it yet. We talk about the other firings, some justified. But you know what? Torts has been just ripping on his team year after year after year. I'm not going to say it's wrong because they should be better, but after a while, it's kind of like the Whisper 2000. Click. I'm not listening anymore. I don't care. I'm just going to go out and do my thing. I can't hear what he's saying. I'm just going. You know what I mean? Like how many more times can at John Tortorella I read Torts going nuts after the game, Brian? It's like
he's going nuts.
It's like me eating a chicken wing. It happens a lot. So you know what? Like,
all right. Well, here's the deal.
What, do you like them in Detroit? Is this?
I think they get whipsawed by the Caps, and they're 3-5-2 in their last 10. They're just and now they have to go on back-to-back nights and go play Detroit, who actually won a couple of games after maybe Detroit, like what would they be? Plus 35, plus 40 at home?
They would be. And also, the thing I like about Detroit in this situation, I got a game wrong this weekend. I actually liked them at home against the Kings. They lost that game 4-2. Not very impressed with the way they played. I have a feeling, yes, that's the type of game that Detroit could win, plus 135, 40 at home, beat Columbus and watch Torts go totally nuts and just spaz out and maybe lose his job. Like that's what I'm kind of thinking. I worry about Bernier between the pipes sometimes, but who's going to go for Columbus? Is it Merzlikins again? Like, he's a train wreck. Like, they got a lot of problems there in Columbus. Like, there's many, many problems, not just one. I would lean to the Red Wings as a home pooch.
All right. Calm down, boy.
What do you say, frisky? Yeah, I'm feeling frisky. Give me a milk bone. What do we got next?
All right, we're going to Wednesday, and listen, don't play on the train tracks. Mom told you don't play on the train tracks.
I know. Get your foot caught. It's dangerous. Very dangerous.
Anaheim's at New Jersey. New Jersey, first game home from a 4-game road trip. Anaheim, big.
Oh, you're smashing Anaheim. Yeah, no. Thing about the Devils is they're not a good team to begin with. They've been very disappointing. Who's starting? Would you your boy Ryan Miller? He might get the start that night there.
Cam,
how about the over?
No, buddy. This is the exact same scenario you mentioned. You alluded to the Rangers Vegas game, right?
Yeah.
That was the perfect storm. Vegas first game home. Rangers first game to start a road trip. We just got done talking about that with Montreal. It was the perfect parlay, and the Rangers beat them 5-0. We got it again. It's the Devils' first game home. Now, they're bad.
Yeah.
But it's their first game home from a 4-game road trip, and Anaheim is starting a 4-game swing at pardon me. They play Tuesday night at Philly. Anaheim, I could see playing Anaheim both nights. Honestly, Anaheim to get their trip off to a good start, and then Jersey just no good. And the thing is, one night you're getting Gibson, the other night you're getting Miller. Well, I don't care what goalie you throw out against the Devils. They better not throw Louis Domingue out there because, I don't think that they paid their power bill to keep the red light on.
When Louis Domingue starts, we bet overs. It's until I see something different. That Buffalo game I watched, it was unbelievable. 5-0 smashing the stick. I was going, this guy is in orbit. Like it was hard to watch actually. But I'm with you, Brian. I think Anaheim was a good price that night. I will definitely not be taking New Jersey. And if you look at Ryan Miller's numbers, they're basically there. He has the exact same save percentage as Mackenzie Blackwood, who I think is, the Devils' better goaltender. So good on Ryan Miller, 4-2-2. His goals against is a little high at 3 in today's hockey. Not that much. 908. I don't have a problem with that. Miller time could show up. Yeah, I'm with you. Let's ride the Ducks. Quack, 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 quack over the Devils for sure.
For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today simply by going to the website betcriscanada.net. Colorado's at Chicago.
What do you like here? This is a tough one.
Colorado's a better team.
Puck line.
Colorado's the better team. Is it that?
For sure they are. Yep, definitely.
What do you think? Colorado will be about 20 cents on the road?
Oh, no, they'll be more than that. I think Colorado will be 45-50 against Chicago.
On the road?
Yep. The way the Blackhawks, they've owned these guys before, too. I think they'll be $1.40, $1.45. That's what I think. You think what, $1.20? $1.25?
Yeah, maybe 30. I'll meet you halfway.
Okay. Well, you meet me halfway then. I think they'll be 40. You say 30, I say 40, I say Colorado. How about that? We take an avalanche of money pouring down on us.
You say tomato, I say tomato. you say succulent, I say suck.
Yes. You're a clown, Blessing. What do we do? What do we do with Edmonton and St. Louis?
Edmonton, my friend. It's starting. I'm telling you, it's starting.
They're what the slow decline of the oil.
Yes. Guys can't do it by themselves.
But the thing is, when they show up, they beat anybody. That's the crazy thing about betting the Oilers. They're a tough team to track because you don't know what's going on with Draisaitl and McDavid. But St. Louis at home against Edmonton, better go. Yeah, if Binnington's against Smith too, I'd be all over St. Louis.
You know where it's showing up, Cam. I mean, look at the last 3 games. They've allowed 6, 6, and 4. Okay, so when these guys wear out, I mean, they're going 100 miles an hour one way, but where it eats them alive is they can't come back. They're exhausted.
No, it's true. It's very true. And Edmonton, you can't be riding one line in the NHL and expect to do something. They've been doing this time after time after time, and it's not working. These guys need help. I'm with you, Brian. And St. Louis, they will turn it on. I'm with the Blues for sure.
Hey, listen, we stand here, and honestly, I mean, we're being sincere. I don't think we're being egomaniacal box of roxes.
Box of roxes. Yeah.
I think we've done quite well on the podcast. We've been winning. I have been dead wrong. I thought
the only thing that's killing us, I'll just mean to interrupt, and we've been better at some of these overs that we used to get. Now we've learned our lesson. Like, we pick our spots, like these 6.5s that look like, they should be 7. Sometimes we're on them, sometimes we're not. But when it comes to angles, big dogs, first game of road trip, credit to you, family trips and stuff, definitely way more in the plus than in the minuses. And the thing I like about the way you gamble, Brian, which is even more ballsier than me, I might be a little more aggressive than you on the tables, but you do a lot of these alternate puck lines when you're not afraid. And when they cash in, it's like winning 2 or 3 bets. So that's a good way to be.
And you know what I mean, and again, when we talk about betting, money management, be disciplined, but there are places to take your shots, and
you have to.
Again, Cammie, you and I got to do it here. Our producer Mike goes, oh no, there he goes again talking about another sport at the hockey. Shut up, Mike. It's a betting podcast.
Mike's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. All right, well, listen. All right, to that end.
Yes.
Last night, and I don't bet them. Believe me, when I think they're up against it, I play totals or steer clear of it. It's not a blind thing. But last night, I went reverse point spread and laid 6.5 with the Bills at 2-1. All right, and so you got to pick your spot when to do it. And then the other one, I could do this on the phone, but since I got you, I saw the worst number in the history of sports betting. They hung last night. I almost fell over. They made John Brown over 55.5 passing yards. It got bet down to 53. The guy's a 1,000-yard receiver.
I know. They're treating him like another
the number should have been 82.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So the point back to the hockey is the bad numbers are all over the place. We cited bad number after bad number last week. Washington and Boston, was it? And Washington should have been a big favorite because Boston was playing like crap. It was just Washington lost to Columbus, and then they go and whack a number down for what? Because it was a situation. That's all it was.
And we smashed that game at 20 cents. Like it should have been 45. I agree with you 100%. You have to keep an eye on these things, these trends, and you're good at that stuff. Watching these teams, first game of road trips, be on top of it. The goaltender too, do your due diligence. Some teams' backups are a hell of a lot worse than the other guy. Like I remember when I first started, don't worry, the backup will show up. Yeah, but when I'm throwing Louis Domingue in there, and if I don't have the over, it's a nightmare. You know what I mean? I'm just giving money away. I might as well just light it on fire. Right?
Well, there's a big difference, when you're talking Blackwood to Louis Domingue, or you're talking Freddie Anderson
to Hutton.
Or Freddie Anderson
to Hutchison. Like those are big differences.
But if you're Boston and you're going from Ras to Halak,
exactly,
it's not a backup.
Exactly. Even in Columbus, Merzlikins and these other guys, like these, I thought, and the Rangers, I'd like to see Georgiev start a hell of a lot more than Henrik the King Lundqvist. He's a better goalie, but that's the thing. They honor the older guy, right?
Wasn't that a thing going around the NHL in the last 4 or 5 years? Weren't a bunch of locker rooms getting Merzlikins? Oh, that was Mercer.
Oh, you're a clown, Brian. I love it.
I love you, buddy. It's a new week. Anybody? Let's wrap it up with this.
Yeah.
A team or two. I mean, we're talking about these situations, and bam, we just fired off a boatload. But have you spotted a team or two or three that you're paying attention to?
Well, I've been paying attention to the whole year. I think they're a team that you have to play on. I don't know how it's going to go against Toronto, but it should be a very good game. If it's 6.5, I'll probably play the under. Another team, Ottawa. Don't be afraid to take the Ottawa Senators, people. The books in New Jersey and Vegas are always 30, 40 cents off with this team. They could show up at plus 200 and win. They're another team that I look at. And as you said, Edmonton, I think, is going to be fade material as well down the line. I don't know if Connor McDavid and Draisaitl could keep up this pace, and we'll be fading them. Oh, look at the number. They got Dallas Stars like $1.80 favorites. Like the books aren't stupid. They're not posting 130s and 140s anymore, Brian.
No, and the one thing I would let's wrap it up with this, and we'll come back and fire away here as we head to the weekend later in the week. But the one thing you got to do, no matter what the sport is you got to look to the future and try to find things, and you want to get on the front end of streaks or things of that ilk. And I would just say this. You alluded to Buffalo, and they were just they'd fallen off the map. The great start. They were falling out of it, and all of a sudden they lost at Boston 3-2. They should have won that game in their sleep. They gave the game away. But you can say, oh, they're doing some really good things. Then they went and beat Florida. So the next game you cashed. And then they were right there with Tampa at 5-2, but it was a couple up the netters. They were right there. They threw the kitchen sink at the Flames and lost 3-2 in overtime. Riddich stole the game. And right there you're saying, they're getting it. Something's going on. And oh, by the way, this team at home they're dominant at home. And so when Buffalo's at home, you better start jacking up, and they don't. You should start. I can find it real quick. But they have made it a tough building to play in, and that has never been the thing in the last 10 years.
Don't like going there. It's also a weird kind of place to play, right? Like you go to Buffalo, it's the Sabres. Like teams don't understand; they're not the same team anymore. Like look at Nashville that night. That would have been a perfect letdown spot for Buffalo. They grind it out. They get the win, Brian. It is a very tough barn to play in.
Here, Cam,
and I love betting the Sabres and matinees.
I love Sabres and over in matinees. But you know what? Honestly, and I mean, in terms of where we find value in numbers, and okay, we're talking about the Sabres, but we can talk about pick a team. But I can tell you, Buffalo is 10-3-3 at home, Cam. And I would venture a guess in those 16 games, I bet you they were an underdog in 12 of them.
11 or 12. Yep, for sure. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And that's what you got to do. It's like what the great late Dave Malinsky told us, right, Brian? When we talk about betting, find a conference, find a team. You know what I mean? Look at the portfolio, figure it out. Like, and you know that team like the back of your hand. It's better. I'd rather know 100% of a team than like small percentages of other teams. You know their trends. You know what teams they do well against. They can beat the Sharks. They don't play well against this team. You know, like
here, buddy, you want one? How about this one? How about Arizona is 11-4-3 on the road, and they're a 500 hockey club at home. And you know why?
I like Arizona.
You know why though, Kim? That
they got a horrible barn. Who's there?
70% of the games that Arizona plays, the building's 50-50. It's
exactly.
all cylinders.
They got commercials at the thing. I got the fire stick. Hey, everybody, come on down to Jimmy's Jimmy John sandwiches, and we'll give you Arizona Coyote tickets. I remember they used to have a promo. Come on down to Jim's Liquor Depot with every bottle of Smirnoff. You can get it. I'm like, what? They had commercials for vodka, McDonald's, like fast food places where we're getting Arizona Coyote tickets.
What's
and
next?
I'm paying $150 to sit in the nosebleeds at a Leaf game. I'm like, God, man, I wish I lived in Arizona.
Oh, what's next? Turkey drumstick. They come to the game. Everybody gets a turkey drumstick.
Exactly. They're giving tickets away. Like Florida, the same thing. You go buy a bottle of booze, they'll give you some Panther tickets. I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah, it's crazy. It's not home ice advantage. But you go to a place like Buffalo, that's big time. And the fans there, they're rowdy. They're into it this year. The Bills are playing well. The Sabres are playing well. It's a good vibe.
Hey, by the way, I mean, we think it's going the wrong way, but Edmonton's actually good on the road. 10-7-1.
They are better. Yeah, I think what the problem with Edmonton at home is? Real flashy. Like they got really good fans there. They try to get too pretty, too cute. It doesn't work. And they try to play that hockey, and it doesn't. After a while, Brian, you know what I mean? Try to do too many things. Guys pinch in, they get burned, and then they hang their goalies out to dry. They play a smarter game on the road. I think a lot of teams do. Hockey's one of those sports where I like taking road teams a lot because they just do their damn job. They don't try to be heroes.
I don't know that he is or will be, but he's got my vote, and I'll tell you that right now. Because I think one of the very best stories in the NHL is Winnipeg, 9 games over 500.
Oh, yeah. With the defense core that they've got, Paul Murray should be getting an award.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Nothing. He's done a great job there.
That's amazing. And you want to look at it and say, is it sustainable? And say, well, whatever. They figured it out. And at some point, Cheveldayoff's no dummy. They'll shore that up. But just to be able to be 9 over 500 when you're thinking the season could get away from them, that's one of the best coaching jobs by a million miles, man.
I agree 100%. They should have, with that defensive core, we thought they were going to be giving up like 6-7 a night, and they've really figured it out. They got great scoring, too, on that team, and they've really tightened up. And I got to give Hellebuck a lot of credit, too. He's been good between the pipes. But, yeah, good on the Jets. It's a very, very good organization. They did great stuff because that could have fallen apart real quick, Brian.
All right. Let's wrap it up with this, but just in terms of getting in the front end of something.
Yeah.
This Montreal thing, I think, bears really close watch. And maybe
so let's do this then. We'll experiment. Montreal versus Vancouver, dog first game of road trip. Let's see how that ouch. Out.
Yeah, and then ouch.
And then
is right. Good gravy. All right, man. He's Cam Stewart. I'm Brian Blessing. There you go. We get a brand new week going on the Hockey Betting Podcast.
You've been listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetChrisCanada.net.
For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today simply by going to the website, BetChrisCanada.net.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction, as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At BetChrisCanada.net and the Hockey Betting Podcast, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling, an approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling, and do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.